Elite alien bully faces human cadet, and loses instantly. HFY Sci-Fi tales. In the year 2621, the Interstellar Academy was the most prestigious training ground for the galaxy's finest warriors, scholars, and diplomats. Among its students were representatives of countless species, each striving to prove their worth in a melting pot of alien cultures. For humanity, still relatively new to the galactic stage, attending the academy was both an honor and a test of grit. Cadet Daniel Reyes, a young recruit with an unassuming demeanor, was one of the few humans to walk its hallowed halls. Daniel wasn't the type to draw attention. He preferred quiet study and private training, avoiding the frequent sparring matches that many of his peers used to establish dominance. But his reserved nature made him a target for Zarek, an elite cadet from the Croxer Dominion. The Croxer were towering reptilian beings with scales as hard as steel and strength that rivaled industrial machinery. Zarek, the son of a renowned warlord, had a reputation for humiliating weaker species in combat, a pastime he viewed as a rite of superiority. One day, in the Academy's central training arena, Zarek cornered Daniel as the other cadets watched. "Human," Zarek growled, his voice echoing through the chamber, "you've been hiding long enough. Let's see if your species is as weak as I suspect." Daniel sighed, setting down the datapad he'd been reading. "I'm not interested in a fight." The Croxer cadet snarled, his claws scraping the floor. "You don't have a choice, face me, or admit your inferiority to the entire academy." The crowd murmured. The pressure was palpable. Daniel glanced around, saw the expectant faces of his peers, and then looked back at Zarek. "Fine," he said, standing and stretching lazily. "Let's get this over with." The duel began with Zarek lunging forward, his massive frame a blur of muscle and fury. He swung a clawed hand at Daniel, aiming to end the fight with a single blow. But Daniel wasn't where Zarek expected him to be. In the blink of an eye, Daniel sidestepped, his movements impossibly fast and precise. With a fluid motion, he delivered a single, calculated strike to a pressure point on Zarek's side. The Croxer stumbled, his massive form crumpling to the floor. He tried to rise, but his limbs refused to obey. The room fell silent, the gathered cadets staring in disbelief. What did you do?" Zarek growled, his voice weak. Daniel crouched down, meeting Zarek's stunned gaze. "Basic anatomy. Your species relies too much on brute strength. You never learned to protect your weaknesses." He stood, brushing imaginary dust off his uniform, and looked around at the crowd. "Anyone else want to test human inferiority?" The arena remained silent. From that day forward, the legend of Cadet Daniel Reyes spread across the academy. Humanity, once underestimated, was now seen in a new light, not just clever or resilient, but a force to be reckoned with. And Zarek? He kept his distance, his pride bruised but his respect for humanity begrudgingly earned. Thus, the tale of how a human cadet bested an elite alien bully in seconds became one of the most upvoted stories on r/HFY, a shining example of humanity's unique blend of intelligence, adaptability, and quiet strength. Aftermath, the ripple effect of Daniel's victory. The duel between Daniel Reyes and Zarek wasn't just a victory, it was a spark that ignited discussions throughout the Interstellar Academy. In the following weeks, the Academy buzzed with the fallout of the fight, as cadets, instructors, and even dignitaries from various species debated its implications. ##### The Croxer response. Zarek's humiliation sent shockwaves through the Croxer Dominion. For a race that valued strength above all else, the idea that one of their finest warriors could be incapacitated by a single human cadet was unthinkable. Initially, many dismissed the event as a fluke, claiming that Zarek had underestimated his opponent. But the footage of the duel, captured by the Academy's automated systems, told a different story. The precision and efficiency of Daniel's movements were undeniable. Analysts within the Croxer military began studying the footage, and soon, whispers of human combat tactics began circulating among their strategists. Despite his shame, Zarek found himself at the center of a unique opportunity. His father, Warlord Carrick, summoned him back to the Dominion to recount the event in detail. Reluctantly, Zarek became an advocate for studying human adaptability, a move that reshaped Croxer training doctrines over the years. #### Humanity's rising reputation. Back at the Academy, Daniel's victory elevated humanity's standing. Previously seen as a younger species, humans were now viewed as unpredictable and highly dangerous in combat, a reputation that extended beyond the Academy's walls. The Earth Coalition seized the opportunity to strengthen ties with other species. Leveraging Daniel's newfound fame, ambassadors used the incident as proof of humanity's value as allies, emphasizing their ability to find unconventional solutions to complex problems. In the Academy itself, Daniel became something of a mentor figure. Cadets from various species approached him to learn his techniques, intrigued by the combination of human ingenuity and raw efficiency. At first, Daniel resisted the attention, preferring to remain under the radar, but over time, he realized the value of teaching others and began running informal training sessions, bridging cultural gaps among his peers. Zarek's redemption arc. While Zarek initially retreated into isolation, his defeat became a turning point. Determined to redeem himself, he approached Daniel with an unexpected request. "Teach me," Zarek said one evening, standing awkwardly outside Daniel's training room. Daniel raised an eyebrow. "You want me to train you?" "I underestimated you once," Zarek replied, his voice steady. "I won't make that mistake again. If I am to regain my honor, I need to understand what makes humans so formidable." The two began training together, their sessions a mix of tension and mutual respect. Over time, their relationship evolved from adversaries to reluctant allies, and eventually, to friends. Zarek's willingness to adapt and learn made him an outlier among the Croxer, and his transformation inspired others to re-evaluate their own biases. A lesson for the galaxy. The duel and its aftermath rippled far beyond the Academy. Diplomatic channels across the galaxy buzzed with discussions about the incident. For some species, it was a humbling reminder that strength alone wasn't the ultimate measure of power. For others, it was an opportunity to forge alliances with a species that had proven itself in ways no one had expected. As for Daniel, he remained modest about the entire ordeal. When asked how he felt about becoming a galactic icon, he simply shrugged and said, "I just wanted to finish my reading that day." But the truth was clear to everyone else. In a galaxy full of challenges and rivalries, humanity had earned its place not through brute force, but through ingenuity, adaptability, and the quiet confidence to stand tall when it mattered most. The story of Daniel Reyes and Zarek became one of the most celebrated entries on r/HFY, sparking endless fan art, spin-offs, and debates. Humanity, as always, continued to prove that when it came to standing out in the galaxy, they had an unparalleled knack for doing so in the most extraordinary ways. A new era of collaboration. As the story of Daniel and Zarek's duel spread across the galaxy, it began to foster a shift in the mindset of many species. What started as a simple contest of strength and skill evolved into a catalyst for unprecedented cooperation and understanding among the diverse races of the galaxy. The formation of the Unified Combat Initiative. Inspired by Daniel's innovative combat techniques, the Interstellar Academy proposed the creation of the Unified Combat Initiative (UCI***), a cross-species program dedicated to studying and sharing the martial practices, strategies, and philosophies of different civilizations. The UCI's primary goal was to prepare the galaxy for potential external threats, such as the enigmatic Void Swarm, a race of destructive biomechanical entities that had been dormant for centuries but still haunted the edges of known space. Daniel was invited to serve as a founding member and lead instructor for the UCI. Despite his reluctance to embrace the spotlight, he saw the initiative as an opportunity to give back to the galaxy. Zarek's role as a bridge between cultures. Zarek, having undergone his transformation, became one of the UCI's fiercest advocates. His first-hand experience with human ingenuity made him a natural ambassador between his Croxer kin and the more tactically versatile species like humans and the agile Falarn, a cat-like race known for their acrobatics. Zarek's presence lent credibility to the UCI among skeptical Croxer warlords, many of whom had initially dismissed the program as unnecessary. Over time, he began to introduce elements of human strategy into Croxer combat training, blending their brute strength with the precision and adaptability he had learned from Daniel. The UCI's first challenge. The real test of the UCI came sooner than expected. Scouts near the galactic rim detected signs of Void Swarm activity. A series of strange energy signatures suggested that the biomechanical menace was stirring once more. The galaxy's militaries scrambled to respond, but their fractured nature made coordination difficult. The UCI proposed a solution, a joint task force comprising elite warriors and tacticians from multiple species, trained under the program's principles. Daniel and Zarek were chosen to co-lead the task force, symbolizing the unity the UCI hoped to achieve. Their team included a diverse mix of talents. Lieutenant Saria Falarn *, an agile Falarn scout capable of navigating the most treacherous terrain. Dr. Velra Thinus *, a Zorvian biologist whose telepathic insights proved invaluable in understanding the Void Swarm's hive mind. Engineer Koronavix *, a Vantari cyborg who specialized in battlefield technology and improvisation. The team's mission was to infiltrate a dormant Void Swarm hive, gather intelligence, and, if necessary, neutralize the threat before it could spread. The hive incursion. The Void Swarm hive was a towering structure of organic metallic tendrils, pulsating with eerie light. As the team approached, it became clear that the swarm was awakening faster than anticipated. Daniel's leadership shone as he coordinated the group, combining their unique strengths into a seamless unit. Zarek led the charge, his imposing presence drawing the attention of the hive's defenders while Saria slipped behind enemy lines to plant explosive charges. When the team encountered the hive's central core, a massive, pulsating entity that seemed to control the swarm, Dr. Thynes used her telepathy to disrupt its connection to the hive mind. Meanwhile, Corin hacked into the hive's neural pathways, feeding false signals that caused the swarm to turn on itself. The final moments of the mission were tense. As the hive began to collapse, Daniel and Zarek held the line, ensuring their team had enough time to escape. Just as the core erupted in a blinding explosion, the two leaders leapt onto the extraction ship, sealing their victory. ####The Galactic Impact. The success of the mission solidified the UCI's importance and proved the value of interspecies collaboration. The task force became legends in their own right, with Daniel and Zarek's partnership celebrated as a symbol of unity overcoming old prejudices. For humanity, the mission was another shining example of their ability to adapt and excel under pressure, earning them a permanent seat at the galaxy's table of power. ###A Bright Future. Years later, Daniel and Zarek sat together in the Academy's courtyard, watching a new generation of cadets train under the principles they had helped establish. "You ever think we'd end up here?" Zarek asked, a rare smile crossing his reptilian face. Daniel chuckled, shaking his head, "Not in a million years." But here they were, two former rivals turned brothers in arms, proof that even in the vastness of space, understanding and cooperation could conquer any challenge. And just like that, the galaxy took its next step toward a brighter, united future.